industry's changed an awful lot. IT industry's changed over the last 20 to 30 years, both in terms of the impact that it has on people's everyday lives, but also the knock-on consequences that has in terms of the drivers of that business. So if you look at the inception of telecommunications with the use of fixed voice lines, through the growth of data for large industry, it is a million miles away from today's video, multimedia, social media, cloud, mobile-driven environment. And subsequently, the type of individual that you need in order to understand, innovate, and drive that industry has changed a great deal. The early telecommunications industry is probably characterized by an image of middle-aged engineering employees, and in many cases that was probably a fair reflection of the early days. Now, of course, that has changed and needs to change even more to reflect the business and the growth that the industry will show going forwards. The other thing is that the industry is an incredibly competitive industry. So we're all looking for the best talent. And in order to do that, we have to have the widest diversity of people that we possibly can. It always amazes me that in 2015, here we are discussing the need for more diversity, even debating the value of that diversity, when in fact that should be a given. Given the amount of competitive pressure that there is on a business, given those dynamics that I talked about which actually drive that business, it seems inconceivable that you wouldn't believe that the most important thing is to have the widest range of views from the widest range of people. And yet that is still a live and important debate. I think the other issue that we also face is the need for innovation within an industry. Nowadays, as we look to compete in an increasingly global and changing marketplace, the values of an entrepreneurial mindset, the ability to change the industry that we're in, to come up with new and innovative ideas, and to be able to find competitive advantage where others have not thought about it, has become a chief tactical and strategic weapon. And if you're going to come up with new and innovative ideas, it's probably best that you have the widest range and diversity of people within your organization who will challenge any preconceptions that you might have had, will break away from crowd thinking and be more individualistic in their innovative and growth-based thinking. So if you think of the great success stories really in IT and in social media over the last 2 to 3 decades, you would think of the likes of Facebook, you would think of the likes of Spotify, the likes of Uber. All of these organizations have taken things that we do every day and completely transformed them, and the way that we absorb content, the way that we do things on a day-by-day basis. But that's come from a very entrepreneurial mindset. It's come from people looking at something every day, thinking of new ideas and changing that. And in order to do that, you have to have people, as I say, who think differently. And therefore, as we sort of look out into the future, the need to continue to innovate, to move faster, to be creative becomes more important. The need to have people who understand that, not just in terms of their ability to innovate in their day-to-day role, but people who are consuming the products and services on a day-by-day basis and therefore inherently understand them. These are things that are driving diversity, not because they're a tick box or something that we should be doing, because they're becoming a vital competitive advantage. And therefore, I only see diversity going in one direction, which is a much broader range. And we have to do, as an industry, we have to recognize that importance. We have to do more and more and be able to encourage that. We have to think about not just whether or not our organizations are diverse, but are we creating the right cultural environment for that to flourish in? Do our office spaces encourage shared working? Do we have strong, flexible working policies? Are we encouraging people to have a voice, to speak up, rather than to walk the consensus? And are we putting tools in place that encourage them to do that? Do we think about both our hard management structures and corporate structures that allow very good feedback, that bring out ideas in people and allow people to move forwards, as well as the informal environments? This is, are we encouraging peer-to-peer interactivity? Are we encouraging people to think outside of the box and rewarding them for that? Are we giving them access to everybody in the organisation so their ideas can flow quickly upwards? I think these are perhaps the things that we need to think about going forward in order to take us to the next stage of diversity, which is not just having a diverse organisation, it's creating a culture that enables and allows that diversity to flourish in the maximum possible way. So I'm very excited, and I think, you know, our sponsorship of the Women in IT Awards as well is, you know, a testament both to the importance of the things that I've talked about and of diversity, but also I think a celebration of the way that the industry is changing, the way that now that there is a, you know, an encouragement and an opportunity for everybody to get involved, and everybody to drive change in an industry that, you know, affects millions and millions and millions of people in their day-to-day lives in terms of providing the infrastructure, the information that people need to do that. And I would encourage everyone to come and join in, because it's an industry that is exciting and changing, and that a diversity of views will only make that more and more